Does your brother still live in Seattle?
Yeah. Yep.
Have you ever tried to convince him to get solar? Is he interested in it?
No, I don't know if his house's orientation, because his house
Oh,
faces east and west, and you want a south facing roof.
okay.
So
On top of that, I was curious because I was like, if you're having cloudy days, he's definitely having cloudy days in Seattle, and I'd just be curious how you have like 3 months out of the year probably where it work efficiently.
that's interesting actually, because his house is a new build, and he lives in a little, I call it neighborhood. It's like 6-7 houses on a road, new builds, nice houses, right? But actually, one of his neighbors has solar on their house, and it is facing south. It's one of those like areas of the country where it's like, it probably wouldn't be smart, but even if it's cloudy, it still produces energy.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. 80% or something? Is it that high, or
80% of what?
80% of like max capacity, or how much?
It depends. It depends. It's crazy. Like if it's really cloudy, like dark, like just like a blanket of overcast,
Like Washington.
the system will put
All the
out
time.
like 2 kilowatt hours of energy. But if it's like cloudy, but like the sun is still, it's like lighter cloudy. I don't know how to describe it. It's like the sun still pokes through once in a while. It'll produce like 10 or 15 kilowatt hours. Compared to like a full sunny day, it'll produce like over 40
In a day?
in a day. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my system, like that's just mine. Every system size is different.
Do you think your system, like how fast is the technology moving? Would you consider replacing your system in 10 years, 20 years, or do you think it's good for ever?
No, like so the panels that I got, it's a company called Jinko Solar. They're not the top of the line panels that they make, but they're pretty close. I have 2,400 watt panels. So 20 times 400 is 8,000. 8,000 watts or 8 kilowatts in DC. Their efficiency is like, no, it's not like, it's right at 19%. 19% of the sunlight that hits the panels is converted to electricity. And this part, like the physics of it are beyond me, so I'm not even gonna try it. But there's different spectrums of light, right? And there's only so much of that light that's actually can be converted to electricity. A lot of it's just heat or visible light. With panels, the best efficiency you're gonna see is like maybe 30, and that's like in a lab.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yeah, so to put that in perspective, like combustion engines are only like 30% efficiency. Like 30% of the energy that is made in a combustion engine is used to move the vehicle forward. The rest is just like noise and heat, wasted noise and heat. So
yeah, friction and whatever.
with solar panels, like the efficiency number, it's like don't worry about that. It's what it is. If a solar panel is like 90% efficient, like I could probably get the same amount of power I'm getting now with like a half a panel. Like
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, is like, could I have like an iPad sized one
Yeah.
someday that powers my
Yeah.
whole house, or mounted on my car? That'd be so cool.
It's actually 4 criteria necessary to get to install a solar PV system where it makes sense for like an individual. And the first one is if you own your own home, because it's a long-term expensive investment. Like, so you're not gonna like
Yeah,
put it on a rental. You know what I mean?
yeah. Tear it off a year later or whatever.
Yeah,
Deal
like
with the
yeah,
landlord.
that makes no sense. I'm going to live there for the foreseeable future because like the payoff period is usually around 10 years before the electricity generated pays you back for the system. But since we're planning on living here for as long as we can, it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was 2. Have a good south-facing unshaded roof. This house is perfect. There's no trees close to the house. It's a south-facing roof. Like when they installed the system, they didn't have to put any like, I don't even know what you call them, but like stilts or anything to like tilt the panels up. It's just flat on our roof because the angle of our roof is good for where we live. So like, I mean, if you live like in the woods or with a lot of trees, like you're gonna be looking at a system where it needs its own support, like that's not shaded, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Last one, you need to pay cash for the system
Rather than finance it.
Don't finance it. You can like lease panels, which don't make sense because if you finance it, you still get the tax benefit because you're still buying them. You still will own them. But if like you lease panels, there's like a power purchase agreement with the solar company. Like those didn't make sense to me. So it's just, my opinion is just best to pay cash because just you own your own home, own the panels. Yes, that's my 4 criteria.
I think I saw in one of your videos you had a calculation of how long it would take for the return on investment. How long was that? Was it 10 years?
Yeah, right now it's 8 years.
8 years remaining, or 8 years from time of installation?
8 years from time of system was turned on. So 8 years from December 2020.
That's not bad.
I'm looking at my solar journal here, and that's from my other videos. It's just like I keep track of like monthly electric bills, you know, kilowatt hour generated, money produced from those kilowatt hours, that kind of thing. As of the end of December, which was the last, you know, electric bill, my solar panels have produced $1,415. So in about a year, $1,415.
So are you still on pace for 8 years? Or are you like ahead or above anything?
Payback period is based on that math is about 10 years actually. 10 years, not 8. Yeah. I just divided what I paid divided by that. So
So that's your current rate is 10 years.
Yeah.
By 1,400 or whatever. Okay. Oh, well, next question I had for you is, do you think everyone should have solar panels? And you just answered that with your 4 criteria. But who?
Yeah, it's expensive. Our system was $19,600 before the 26% federal tax credit. Almost 20 grand. But after the federal tax credit, the system ends up costing $14,504.
$5,000?
Yeah,
credit.
And you know, it's a tax credit, so it subtracts your tax liability by that amount. And I don't know if it's the same.
It's the way your taxable income credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It changes every year, so I don't know if it's still in effect or if it's less or more. I don't really care because I've, you know, it's.
Yeah.
If I was putting on solar panels this year, I would know.
If and when you have to install it again, it'll probably be 20, 30 years from now.
We'll see. I mean, I think they're warranted for 25 years, the panels and the inverters. So we'll see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's like 30 whatever year old self made a decision for your 50-year-old self that I'm going to give you free power for decades.
Yeah. Hopefully
cheap power.
In 10 years, it'll be, free power. I still consider it free power now. I mean, like that money's gone, right? So I mean,
and it's more valuable power because it's like if the grid goes down, you continue living normally. You know, like it's more robust power than like relying on the grid.
Well, that's actually not true.
Oh yeah.
So unless you have a home battery backup, which we don't, when the grid goes down, your panels, I don't know how it works, but your panels stop producing energy too.
Oh.
Because I've been told, because it's a safety issue for anybody working on the lines. Because they put power back in the grid, so it's a safety hazard if they're producing power.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way, there must be like a way to take it off the grid though. Yeah. Like, it's probably like electricians work, but I mean.
Yeah, it's, if you don't have batteries that will power your home, I honestly don't know how, or if like solar panels will, if it's sunny outside and you're like trying to run your house and the power's and the grid's down, if it would power stuff. I don't know. I don't think it is because there's a lot of code, you know, building code and electric code involved.
Yeah. And anyways, there's no way to store it. So yeah, it would be like, as soon as the sun goes down, power goes down.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, the reason why we don't have like a Tesla Powerwall is just, that'd be another at least $10,000 for one Powerwall. They're very expensive. You know, paying to be on the grid is very cheap comparatively to have like unlimited power if your panels, if it's like not sunny or whatever, or at night, obviously, to just pull that power from the grid.
Have you looked into the batteries much? Like, is there any strong competitors to the Tesla Powerwall that you've considered or researched?
No, honestly, I haven't because we haven't been interested. If I did, I would go for Powerwall probably, but I know Generac makes home batteries. Sure, a lot of companies do, but they're just very expensive.
So that's one thing though that I heard that from like 2010 to now, I don't know how it was phrased. I think it was like price per whatever measure, megawatt hour of storage or however batteries are measured has gone down by 90%, and the efficiency's up, they can make them smaller, all that stuff. So that's the kind of thing where I'd wait as long as possible to do. Like if the grid price starts going way up, that might be the time to like let's say it's 2025 or 2030 and then the technology is like 10 times better than it is right now, you know.
Yeah,
that could be the time to jump for it.
It's one of those things that it's constantly getting cheaper, panels are constantly getting better, but you only have so long to live too.
Yeah, I guess if the grid was an important thing for you.
Well, that's another thing too, like when you buy panels, you kind of lock in the price of they're paid for, right? So let's say electricity goes up to it doubles in price. Well, you're going to get paid for those kilowatt hours you generate at that price.
Yeah.
So instead of, you know, just a normal person with no panels, you know, now they're paying more, they're paying double for their electricity. You're at least getting paid the same price that you're paying in electricity. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Back to my question about should everyone have panels? I guess one thing I was thinking with that is there much maintenance? I know you have to clean them like a couple times a year, 4 times a year?
I've cleaned them once.
Oh, what was the difference in power generation before and after?
It was only like 2 or 3 kilowatt hours on a sunny day.
Wow.
So it was a little bit, right? It makes a difference because any dirt on the panels is going to obviously keep the light from getting into it. That's one of those things I would get yourself some kind of glass window cleaning equipment and clean them like a couple times a year. That's the only maintenance. There's nothing. There's no noise. They don't generate any noise.
That's nice.
There's just no maintenance. They're pretty boring, actually.
Yeah, when they're working properly, they're boring. That's good. I wonder, it would probably depend a lot on where you live. Like if you live near a busy road, you might get a lot more dust, like brake dust and stuff. Or if you live near a factory, it'd probably get dirty a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. It's only like 2 or 3 kilowatts a day kilowatt hours, because that's, might as well not even worry about it. Just let it go like years between cleaning.
One of those things, like, it makes me feel better that I did that than actually really benefiting the system. If you got the time and you got the equipment, you might as well.
Oh, I was gonna say this just occurred to me, but like, did you ever train in 29 Palms? You ever go out there? Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure you know sort of what it's like. Like, it's just a fucking desert. A lot of people have solar panels out there, and there's solar panel farms. Like, there will be like these fenced off areas with just acres of solar panels. I'm sure those solar panels, with like all the dust blowing around and hardly any rain, they probably have to clean those a lot.
There are like companies out in California that like people pay to clean their panels for them.
I've seen people doing that. Yeah, start a little business. I
mean, you were in Florida. Like, there are no solar panels in Florida, and it's sunny most every day. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, and Florida doesn't really have that many incentives as a state for panels. That's the problem too. Everyone have solar panels. Realistically, everyone can't afford them. Everyone doesn't own their own home. It doesn't make sense for a lot of locations. It's not like a be-all, end-all for power, right? I haven't done the calculations, but I've been interested. Like, for me to like completely go off grid would probably cost anywhere from another probably up to like 50 grand for me to go off grid to have enough solar generation and like battery storage. And like to pay $16 to be connected to the grid when my panels generate more than I use is that's pretty dang cheap. It's definitely not like an environmental thing. It's like it's an economic, it's a personal finance decision. Like, I got this house and I got this perfect roof, why wouldn't I want free electricity? It doesn't make sense.
I mean, plus it's a hobby for you, right? You like enjoy it and stuff. So it's like,
well, plus I got EVs too. So
yeah.
It makes sense.
That's awesome. Yeah. That sweetens the bill even more, because you consume a lot more power because of that. Have you had any issues, like any days where it's down, or like anything besides just cloudy days where you're not generating enough?
No, right now some of the panels are covered in snow.
That probably takes the production down a lot. Does it drop to 0 or like pretty close to 0? I'd be curious.
No. What's funny is they still put out some energy. Like, it's like a little bit, like a trickle, but it's like 0.1 kilowatt hour was generated. Even when the panels are covered, which is funny. There are 2 main microinverters. So microinverters convert the DC energy from the sun to AC energy for the grid in your house. And my panels have microinverters, which is there's an inverter for each panel. The other type is string inverters, and that's like an inverter for like 5 panels or 10 panels. And I don't know for sure, but what I've been told is that if one of those panels goes down, the whole string doesn't produce energy.
More fragile.
Yeah, I guess. It's interesting. Like, just a couple of days ago, some panels are clear because they just melted off quicker. Like, one panel produced 2 kilowatt hours in a day, and the ones that recovered produced 50 watts or something like that. Nothing. So it does make a difference.
How do you track it? Do you have an app, or do you just look at your electric company?
Through the microinverter, there's a monitoring system.
Oh, there's a little screen.
Enphase. It's called Enphase Enlighten. And it just shows you your panels, what each panel produce. It shows you your production per day, per month, per week, per year, lifetime production. Is there anything, if you were installing them again today, is there anything you would do differently? Like more panels, bigger, the higher quality ones, anything? No, no, for my house and my roof, it's pretty good. It looks good. It's everything's aligned and even. There's not 2 panels up here
sticking out.
Here.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, I could probably add like 5 more, but they'd be like just different angles and shit. No, I wouldn't. I've been very happy with the system. I just wish it was sunnier during the winter.
Do you clean it off? Do you clean the snow off, or do you just let it sit?
No, because if it's sunny and not like single digits, the snow melts off pretty quick. It's like asphalt, right? It's a dark surface underneath. So
Yeah.
it melts it and the snow just like slides off. And throughout the day, you hear like these thumps because the snow's hitting the ground.
So it only lasts for like a few days at most, and then basically cleans itself off. Yeah, if you think about all that goes into it, I don't know how long it took them. Was it just like one day, or was it like several days?
It was about 6 hours. They were done.
Oh, okay, that's fast. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like a reasonable price. And I was thinking it was like a multi-day, like 3-day thing to.
Yeah. And you know who did most of like the grunt work? It was like 2 like kids out of high school that were up on the roof like putting shit in. Yeah.
And then like a supervisor or something.
Yeah, there were 2 older guys who were kind of like leading things, and like probably one of them was like a certified electrician, like running wires and stuff through the roof and everything and all that stuff. But that's the thing, once it's installed, like it's there, it's done. Like, and then once it's turned on, like it's turned on. You know, it's got to produce energy until it's turned off. The system is connected like a box for the system that communicates with the internet, you know, gets your data for you, and then it goes to like a emergency shut off switch, and then it goes to your meter, and then it goes to your box, your main panel in your home. And there's actual circuit breaker that they put in for the panel.
It powers your internet router, are you saying, or it's connected to?
It does sometimes. No,
Yeah.
like it's connected to our internet. Like there's an Ethernet cable connected to our Wi-Fi router, I want to say. And that's where I can pull my data stream. Power that we're not using during the day that's being generated gets kicked out into the grid, and that's where the net metering comes into play. Without net metering, solar is not. It's really not. It wouldn't be that effective because you'd only be able to use it during the day. You know, most people are gone during the day when it's sunny, when you get the most sun in your home.
Your meter tracks the amount that's going out and then the amount that you use, and then
There's 2 different readings on the meter. Yep, there's the kilowatt hours that we pulled and the kilowatt hours that have been put back into the grid.
Are your cars the biggest source of energy, or?
No, biggest source is the geothermal heating in the winter because it runs a lot to keep the house warm.
Geothermal? Yeah. Why does it need electricity if it's geothermal?
Well, there's pumps, there's fans, there's the compressor.
Okay, so
it's just a more efficient way to transfer heat because the ground's a steady temperature. It's easier to transfer and pull heat. But yeah, if it makes sense for you, you know, I would definitely recommend getting solar panels. I mean, they produce free energy from the sun. And I've heard this argument too, is that, you know, they alleviate a lot of grid stress too, because like if every new house had solar, the grid wouldn't be so stressed to produce, you know, more energy.
Have you ever seen pictures of buildings near coal plants? They're just like covered in black, like it's nasty. So your panels will get covered in. That's what I was thinking of when I was saying earlier about like, depends what you live near. I was thinking specifically of coal plants, because those things would get covered like every few months probably.
Well, it was kind of along those lines. It was interesting this summer, like there was like a haze in the sky, and it was from the wildfires out west.
Dang.
This summer, like on sunny days, my panels wouldn't produce as much as they normally would because there was like a haze in the sky. I'm like, what is that haze? Is it just cloudy? A little cloudy? But no, it was from the fires in the west this summer. That's why climate change pisses me off, because it's messing with my solar power.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Get out of here. The environmental aspect is it's not why I put solar panels on my house, but it can't hurt.
Yeah, one more reason to feel good about it a little bit.
I always like to say that if we really cared about the environment, we would all live in like mud huts.
Yeah.
And stuff like that's just reality. Like,
what did we talk about? We said something that we could do in the next episode about
housing.
Yeah, that would be interesting, because like I said, I've studied both sides of it, the like buy property or just live this like nomadic lifestyle like I do. Yeah, man, it was good talking, and I'll let you get to bed.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. I'll try to make it into a cohesive video.
Hopefully it'll get 40 views and people will find it interesting.
All right, Ross, I'll see you later, man.
Yeah, I feel that. Have a good night.